Yo, what's good, YouTube? King John here. Welcome back to the channel. So obviously Soul right now is the strongest character in the game and everybody wants him nerfed or yada yada yada. But I also noticed that a lot of people simply don't know a lot of things that you can do to punish Soul or counteract Soul in a lot of his things. So in today's video, what I'm going to try to do is show you guys different options and alternatives to things you can do to counteract Soul's options. I'm going to show you guys how to beat 4S, how to punish Bandit Bringer, Bandit Revolver, and overall how to counteract Mofos' game plan. Obviously Soul is a very overtuned character right now, so sometimes you can just lose, but there's a lot of things that I don't even see people at the highest level doing against Soul that could really help them win more matches. But before we get into that, guys, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. We're on that 500 subscriber goal right now. It only takes 2 seconds of your time and it really helps me out a lot. Also, you want to catch me live or hang out, asking some questions live or anything, you can catch me over at twitch.tv/KingJohn_TTV. Alright, so let's get into it. So let's start off with the most important thing and the thing that most people hate about this character, and that's probably 4S, right? So 4S is a 10 frame startup move that's +2 on block, and it goes pretty far. It has literally almost little to none whip recovery, and everybody hates it. Well, there is a few options you can do against this button that a lot of people don't really do. So let's start off with the safest option, and let's start off with the most safe option that you possibly have, and that is to simply just faultless defense. Faultless defensing is pretty much a must for this because simply it pushes me away and it forces me to take different alternatives to keep pressure going. The more you do faultless defense, sometimes I can just whiff my buttons and then you can just whiff punish me. And overall, it just gives you more space to even jump out, maybe challenge, so many things. The step number 1, you should always faultless defense this button. Do it as much as you can. It forces me to take different alternatives like running up and things like that, and that's a risk. So don't block it normally because that really does nothing. But another thing that a lot of people are actually very scared to do is just pressing a button to check me. If I'm doing a lot of 4S, you can really interrupt the middle of it. I can't do more than one 4S in one block string. Just doing 4S is actually fake. But obviously, if I know that you're gonna mash, I can delay the block string and blow you up. But the best thing you can possibly do is try to fuzzy mash it, or if you don't know how to fuzzy mash, you could also try to switching your defensive options. You know, mixing some faultless defense, mixing some mashing, mixing a few things. Make me think about it. Don't let me autopilot 4S and let me get away with murder. Obviously, if you mess up, you're gonna feel it, but that's just how it is. But depending on your character, it's actually worth taking the risk on challenging Soul 4S because some characters get a lot of return from it actually. For example, Kai is actually one of those characters. If Kai challenges 4S, he gets some good setups, get some good situations for him, you know. He can get that, and even 6 framers work. If you're a 6 framer character, it doesn't even matter, you can still challenge. Doesn't matter, it's still the same situation, and it's very consistent. It works every time. Kai gets shock stay into a setup, or he can just get a knockdown into a setup. Kai gets pretty good return from challenging this. Any character with a 6 framer can challenge 4S into 4S. Obviously, if you pick a character like Amelia, that risk gauge is a lot higher because of your health pool and Soul's damage output. But her return for getting a successful challenge is a whole disc setup, you know. So, you know, it's kind of worth it to take the risk every once in a while and, you know, not sit there like a deer in headlights. Now let's talk about the final tip for dealing with 4S, and that's doing 6P. Doing 6P should be your go-to way of dealing with this button. Now, I'm not just saying just 6P it. So, for example, if he does the same string he always does, 6P always wins. Now, if the Soul player knows this is coming, he could do one of two things. He could 2K or 2D, or just not do anything at all. 2K and 2D, since they hit the lower body, it interrupts it. But at the same time, if you do 2D, you give up your turn, and if you do 2K, then you're also kind of giving up your turn. So it's about mixing between mashing with challenging, doing faultless defense constantly, and doing 6Ps on his approaches or just in between it. It's a lot of things that go into it. It's a lot of RPS. However, what I see most people doing is just staring at it like they're in a deer in headlights and just taking it, or just jumping out sometimes. Jumping out is cool, but it loses to 2K. So if I think you're gonna jump out, I can 2K it. So there's a lot of things you can do to deal with this button. Just try to not just stand there and take it, because that's just gonna be what I want. I got you there. You're scared. It's party time, dude. I can do whatever I want. That's rule number 1 to not losing to Soul. So now let's talk about the next thing that a lot of people don't know what to do against it, and it really annoys me sometimes. And that move is Bandit Bringer. Bandit Bringer is like the overhead dive kick looking move. It has 2 versions. It has regular Bandit Bringer, which is -2, and it has the air charged version, which is -1, but that's the charged version specifically. So some souls like to do things like this. That's not real. That's not safe. So if you try to challenge Bandit Bringer in a situation like that, you're probably just gonna see something like this. You're gonna lose. Since 5k is 3 frames and it's -2, he's still technically advantageous. So what can I do to punish Bandit Bringer, huh? Well, it's simple, really. So Bandit Bringer is -2. Throws have a 2-frame startup. So just throw it. It's a punish every time. It literally says punish right there. It's really as simple as that. A lot of souls get away with murder because people don't know how to deal with Bandit Bringer. And look at this, you're in the corner now. So many souls get away with murder just because people don't know how to deal with Bandit Bringer. And it's kind of I don't always be sometimes, because sometimes what I like to do in tournament sets is I mash Bandit Bringer just to see how you react. Do you mash? Do you grab? Do you know the punish? And as soon as I have that information, then I can either exploit you because you don't know how to deal with it, or be more careful because you do know how to deal with it. If you're really feeling spicy, you can 6P it if you want, but honestly, it's not worth the risk. It's honestly better just to throw punish it and be advantageous. So please, if you see Bandit Bringer, just throw it. It's really as simple as that. Now in the previous situation, it was being used really close to you, so it's really easy to get. But if they space it out just a little bit, then they can actually backdash and you'll throw it with. So what you would do in a situation like that, where it's a little bit out, you go and chase the backdash. This is obviously something you're gonna have to lab out with your character specifically, but for Kai, you really just have to 2S it, and now you're in an advantageous situation. So it's up to you to really see the distance that the Bandit Bringer is used. Is it right near you? Is it spaced correctly? I know it's kind of a lot and it's really annoying, but that's just how it is. But simply, a lot of people don't grab punish Bandit Bringer at all, so it's really annoying sometimes. So I wanted to put that out there so you guys know, please just throw it if they do it in your face. Especially at lower levels, people would just be doing Bandit Bringer like crazy. They'd be mashing at Bandit Bringer thinking that you can't do anything about it, but it's so simple. Really, just grab them. Now for the air charge version, it's a little tougher. Since it's -1, there's only 2 things that can happen. Either they're gonna 5k or they're gonna backdash, because you can't throw them and beat the 5k, but they can also backdash for free to beat your throw. So it's a mind game. It's an RPS situation. You're gonna have to guess what they're gonna try to do. So this one isn't as simple as just throw them 5 head. Just throw them, bro. It's not that simple this time, at least for the air charge version. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that helped you a little bit to understand the Bandit Bringer's RPS. But let's move on. So I'm going to briefly go over Bandit Revolver. It's honestly not that hard to punish. It's like -7, but I'm gonna go over it really quickly for those who don't know. Bandit Revolver is -7, so it's really easy to punish. You can go crazy and do whatever you want, or you can take the safe route and just grab punish it again. Pretty simple. Just either get a big punish or grab them. Simple as that. Let's talk about another one of his really strong buttons. Let's talk about 6S. 6S is very strong. Tons of reward on counter hit. Tons of reward in general. Doesn't have that much recovery, but it does have some recovery. Very good. Overall, very good. It's doing 10 hitboxes. It's just really good. So how do you deal with it? Well, you can do a few things. In neutral, if they were to whiff something like this, really easy to just whiff punish them, but that's a little high level. Let's do something more simple, right? Just jumping over it. Also a pretty good option. Obviously, this is also very character specific. I'm using Kai because he's the most basic bitch in the game, so it makes things a lot easier to understand for the viewer. If punishing this button doesn't have to be super reactionary either. It's not that hard. Very easy. You just gotta play the footsie game. It's just so many things. You can do a lot of things. Just whip punishing it is a good option. Jumping over it, that's also a good option. Also, if he does it too close, you can just punish it, period. Again, another really strong button, but it has answers. You just have to switch up your options and punish him for just throwing it out and whipping it. Like, this shouldn't be allowed. Don't let him do that on you. If a soul player is out here just being a madman throwing that shit out, you gotta let him know. We play footsies in his household, my guy. Oh, and Soul himself is honestly one of the easiest characters to whip punish this, which is kind of ironic. It's so easy with Soul. You can be across the screen and still be able to whip punish shit. It's kind of funny anyways. Alright, finally, let's talk about his SDP. So there's a few things you can do against the SDP. Very simple. You can just block it and punish it. I know, right? It's crazy. It's -22 on block. So, you know, if you think he's gonna DP and RC to get out for free, then you can just run up, backdash, punish. Crazy. I feel like a lot of people overcomplicate this more than it needs to be because it's so fast. But really, you just gotta either A, backdash, or B, block it. It's not rocket science, my guys. And even then, if you're feeling kind of spicy too, you can just throw it. You don't want to deal with all that? Just throw it. There you go. You just dealt with the SDP. Congratulations. But yeah, in all seriousness, just block it, backdash, or throw it. It's not that hard, you know? A lot of people think this is the greatest DP of all time. It is pretty fast, I'm not gonna lie, but it still has DP types of recovery, and it has still DP types of punishes. But yeah, that's pretty much it, everybody. If you guys want like complete full anti-soul guide where I cover pretty much everything, I just wanted to cover the big major points that people are having issues with. But if you guys want that complete soul guide, make sure to let me know by liking this video and let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe to your boy on the road to 500 subscribers, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.